My name is Anna Springer, and thank you for joining me today as I present the ongoing investigation into the purpose of the 1827 inscription located on the terrace of the Cushlan wing of John Cabot University's Guarini campus in Rome. In 2019, JCU administration decided to renovate the lower terrace of Guarini campus in an effort to create a more pleasant outdoor space for students, faculty, and guests. This renovation included restuccoing the entire surface of this wall, which had about 5 centimeters of plaster built up on the cement from previous restorations. The renovation team, working under the direction of Fabrizio Zambaturo, removed these past layers in their entirety in order to lay down a fresh coat of stucco. During the removal of the plaster on this section, Zambaturo noticed an inscription and worked to carefully uncover it while inflicting as little damage as possible. The JCU administration made the decision to leave the inscription uncovered while applying the new layer of plaster, as it represented part of the history of the building. Zambaturo recalls that there were no indications that this inscription was spolium from another structure, as the inscription had been made directly in the cement of which the wall is comprised. The renovation team mixed a bit of dirt with wet cement and traced over the incised lines to heighten their definition, which accounts for the appearance today. Unfortunately, no photos were taken during the renovation of the terrace or the discovery of the inscription, but Zambaturo was able to provide a hypothesis regarding its purpose or significance. Similar to the tradition of plaques commemorating the establishment of a building, Zambaturo indicated that construction crews are accustomed to inscribing the date of the completion of a project on a finished building or structure. The crooked angle of the date may indicate that the inscription could have been done by a construction worker standing on a scaffold, as the wooden scaffolds used in 1827 may not have been perfectly level. This hypothesis regarding the author of the inscription corresponds to that of Sandro Fiorentini. Fiorentini is a marble cutter and the owner of the marble workshop Il Marmararo, famous in Rome for its bespoke creation of marble plaques. Upon inspecting this inscription, Fiorentini claimed that it would not have been the work of a professional stone cutter based on the uneven height of the numbers and irregular script. This hypothesis, together with Zambaturo's testimony that the date was inscribed directly in the cement of the wall, support the idea that some kind of construction work on the present-day Cushlan wing of the JCU campus was completed in 1827 and commemorated by this inscription. The maps of Rome created by Mario Cartaro and Antonio Tempesta in 1576 and 1593 respectively reveal that a structure has existed on the site of the current-day Cushlan wing since the 16th century. Therefore, the 1827 date cannot refer to the establishment date, but the possibility that it commemorates an addition or change to the building structure is what this research project will explore. A tangible method of visibly tracing changes to the building's layout over time are the number of windows visible on the facade facing Via della Lungara, as this may indicate the addition of a bay. A comparison between Giuseppe Vasi's view of Porta Settimana from 1747 and the current facade of the Cushlan wing shows that while Vasi's view depicts the building with 5 windows across the first floor, the building as it stands now has 6 windows across its facade. Additionally, the window depicted here in Vasi's view on the northeast wall of the building corresponds to the general location of the modern-day now solid wall which bears the 1827 inscription. This begs the question of whether the 1827 construction was the addition of a bay, which would account for the extra window and the now windowless northeast wall. However, a photograph and a plan of the building created in 1929 depicts the building with 5 windows as well, and therefore the addition of the 6th window and its potentially corresponding bay does not account for the 1827 inscription. Carlo Guerra-Baldelli's photograph of the exterior of the building depicts the 5 windows spanning the facade with a larger gap between the first and second windows. I would hypothesize that at some point after 1929, only the facade of the building was changed, and a 6th column of windows was added in this gap between the first and second windows. Supporting this hypothesis is the fact that the distance between the main door of the campus and the Porta Settimana recorded on Baldelli's plan from 1929 is 19.15 meters, the same distance as it is today. Therefore, it can be reasonably concluded that the addition of the sixth column of windows in the last century did not require the building to be lengthened. Two maps of Rome, created in the years immediately surrounding the hypothesized construction in 1827, depict a change in the structure of the building. The map by Angelo Ugeri, an abbot and artist from Cremona, created in 1826, depicts an L-shaped building running along the Aurelian Wall and Via della Lungara. The map by Giovanni Battista Cipriani, a geologist, created in 1830, depicts a third wing extending back from the end of the building running along Via della Lungara. While these maps provide visual evidence of this change and are from dates very close to 1827, I cannot vouch for their veracity, and therefore will turn to two more reliable representations of the area to examine the building and its changes in detail. The first is Giambattista Nolli's Map of Rome from 1748, which was created by the architect following his detailed survey of the city. Second is this model of the city from the Musée du Plan Relief in Paris, created in 1852 as part of a collection started under Louis XIV in 1668 as a tool for surveying fortified cities. The model, created by a team of engineers and geographers, provides an overall plan of the Trastevere neighborhood, as well as a detailed representation of the buildings situated on Via della Lungara. The amount of details visible even in the view from above, such as the various heights of the roof and the different sections of the building, make this the ideal view to use in the search for changes to the building's structure. These two maps show both the L-shaped building seen in the 1826 map by Angelo Ugeri and the horseshoe-shaped building visible in the 1830 map by Cipriani, adding a level of confirmation to the accuracy of those two maps and possibly their dates. As Nolli's map and the model are based on detailed surveys of the land, they will serve as the basis for my continued research into visual evidence of what the 1827 inscription could signify in the history of JCU's campus. An overlay of the model and Nolli's map reveals that the building extending to the west did not exist in 1748, but also that the building, which is now the Kushlan wing, was extended, as this section of the building does not appear in the 1748 map. Turning now to the angled view of the model, the extension can be placed more or less here, adjacent to the decorative entrance gate, which bears a similar resemblance to the entrance as it exists today. Visible here again is the location of the 1827 inscription, next to the location of the entrance, confirming that the wall containing the inscription would have been constructed during that extension of the building. Various plans of the building are located in the Archivio Storico Capitolino may provide information regarding the purpose of the building's extension. In this plan and elevation of the building from 1888, the entrance door is visible, although without the decorative element seen in the 1852 model, and adjacent to it in the plan of the building is a staircase, which I hypothesize to be the addition of 1827. Turning to a plan and elevation of the building created in 1907, the entrance is once again surrounded by the stonework frame, as seen in the elevation, and is adjacent to a staircase in the plan. While these documents seem at first to provide confirmation of the working hypothesis, there are inconsistencies which must be addressed, starting with the appearance of this second door. A side-by-side comparison of the elevations and plans from 1888 and 1907 revealed some more problems than solutions. With the plans lined up based on the location of the Porta Settimiana indicated here, the staircase appears in different locations on each of the plans. This alignment of the plans places the main entrance door here on each plan, which then would indicate that this side entrance in the 1907 elevation is indicated here on the plan where I had originally placed the main entrance. Looking at this plan from 1907, however, I notice that this notation is different than these, as this one only has one layer facing the exterior, and these have two, one facing the exterior and one facing the interior. As these are most assuredly windows and doors, it is possible that perhaps this single layer notation does not indicate a passageway between the interior and the exterior. If the plans are realigned, disregarding the indicators for the Porta Settimiana, and working off of the alignment of the walls of the building and the location of the staircase, the plans are much more cohesive. The main entrances are now both located next to the staircase, and the windows shown in the 1907 plan line up with those in the 1888 elevation, as does the door to the far right of the building, shown in both the 1907 plans and the 1888 plans and elevation. This comparison of the plans suggests that there was potentially an error made on the part of Augusto Bonanni, the architect in charge of creating the 1907 plans, when aligning the building in relation to the Porta Settimiana. Why he would have included a second door on the elevation when it is not included in the plan is a question that remains unanswered. As the plan of the building created in 1929 includes measurements which correspond to the actual building today, as indicated earlier, it can prove useful as a sort of representation of our modern-day building. One hitch is that the staircase is not depicted here as it was in the earlier plans. However, a comparison with the catasto from 1939, which does include the staircase next to the main entrance once again, shows almost very few differences between the two layouts once the outer walls, windows, and main door are aligned. As the staircase is present in the plans from 1888 and 1907, as well as in the 1939 catasto, it is possible that Baldelli simply left it out of the 1929 plan, perhaps because the details of that section of the building in its actual state were not of great importance to him, as it was to be demolished in his plans. The red shaded areas on this plan are what would have comprised his new building, and the parts of the current building not included in this area would have been removed, as evidenced in the drawings of the projected facade and the plan, which shows the area of the present-day Cushlan wing as an empty recess from the road. Moving ahead with the assumption that the staircase was omitted for the sake of simplicity, the 1929 plan can be compared to those from 1888 and 1907, with the last shifted to correct Bonanni's mistake. The walls of all three plans line up fairly nicely, as does the location of the staircase, or the forgotten staircase, and the location of the main door as well. This final comparison allows the pieces to fall into place. On today's building, the wall adjacent to the main door is the wall currently bearing the 1827 inscription, and is confirmed that the wall has not changed location since 1929, as the distance between the door and the Porta Settimiana is currently the same as indicated in the plan. As the location of the staircase lines up in each of these depictions of the building, it seems to be approximately the size of the addition added sometime between 1748 and 1852, I would conclude that the 1827 inscription acted as an informal commemoration of the work done to extend the building and include this stairwell. Many thanks for your time and your consideration.